$5. That is what I am asking you to spend today. Not 500, not 50, $5. Because here is what most people do not know, and what the grocery industry has no interest in telling you. The Iowa State University Extension, one of the most respected agricultural research institutions in the United States, published a figure that has been verified and updated for 2026 prices. $1 of vegetable seeds returns $25 of produce. $1, $25 back. At current 2026 grocery prices, with fresh vegetable prices up 7.5% year over year according to the USDA's own food price outlook, that ratio is understated for the highest yield crops, which means $5 of the right seed, planted today, in July, in warm soil that is ready and waiting, returns more fresh food than most families buy at the store in a month. Not eventually. Starting in August. Not from some exotic plant that requires specialist knowledge or expensive inputs. From one seed packet that costs the same as a cup of coffee and is available at virtually every garden center, hardware store, and seed supplier in the country right now. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. But before I do, I need to show you the full math, because the number is bigger than you think. And once you see it, the $5 will look like the most obvious decision you have ever made in a garden. Stay with me. Because at minute 12 of this video, I am going to show you a second seed, a companion plant that costs the same $5 and doubles the return of everything you plant beside it. That detail is going to change how you think about your garden for the rest of this season. Let's do the math. Before I tell you what the seed is, let me show you what you are currently paying for not having planted it yet. The grocery math. The average American family spends between $50 and $75 per week on fresh produce. That is $200 to $300 per month. $600 to $900 from now until the end of October. Fresh vegetable prices are up 7.5% year over year as of 2026, according to the USDA Economic Research Service. Cucumbers rose 33.6% between 2024 and 2025 alone. The produce you are buying today costs significantly more than the same produce cost 2 years ago, and the trajectory is not reversing. The seed math. A packet of the seed I'm about to show you costs approximately $5. It contains enough seed to plant a bed that, managed correctly, produces harvestable food continuously from August through November. That is 16 weeks of fresh food from a $5 investment. At current produce prices, that 16-week harvest represents $150 to $300 in grocery savings, depending on your growing conditions, your zone, and how consistently you harvest. Iowa State Extension's $1 returns to $25 figure holds at 2026 prices. And for this specific crop, at current retail rates, it understates the return. The dependency math. Every week that you buy fresh produce from a grocery store, you are dependent on a supply chain that includes fuel costs, transportation logistics, international trade agreements, weather events in growing regions you have never visited, and retail pricing decisions made by people who have no interest in keeping your grocery bill low. That dependency is not inevitable. It is a choice. One that most people make by default because nobody showed them the alternative. The time math. The crop I'm about to show you requires approximately 20 minutes of work to plant, 15 minutes of watering per week to maintain, and a few minutes every few days to harvest. Total active time investment for 16 weeks of fresh food, roughly 4 to 5 hours across the entire season. That is less time than most people spend watching one Netflix series. The knowledge math. And this is the one that matters most. Most people never plant this crop at this time of year because they do not know they can. They believe, because the spring gardening culture told them so, that July is for harvesting what you planted in spring, not for starting something new. That belief is costing them 16 weeks of free food every single year. Let me change that right now, before I name the plant. The yield data. Because I want you to understand exactly what you are getting before you go to the garden center. The National Garden Bureau rates vegetables based on total yield per square foot, average value per pound, and productive time in the garden. The crop I am about to show you consistently appears at the top of that index for home gardeners. Here is why. It is a cut-and-come-again crop. That term, cut and come again, is the most important concept in this video. Most vegetables give you one harvest per plant per season. You grow it, it reaches maturity, you harvest it, it is done. The plant's productive life ends at the first harvest. A cut and come again crop works differently. You harvest the outer leaves or the tips. The plant continues growing from the center. You come back in 5 to 7 days and harvest again. And again, and again, for 16 weeks, from one planting, from one packet of seeds. A well-managed cut and come again bed, planted in July across a 4 by 4 foot space, 16 square feet, produces 3 to 4 cuttings per month across 16 weeks, approximately 4 to 6 harvests total across the growing window. At current retail prices of $4 to $6 per bunch at the grocery store, conservatively, that 16 square foot bed returns $80 to $150 in fresh produce from a single $5 seed packet. The Iowa State Extension's $1 returns to $25 figure. Confirmed, at this scale, with this crop. And the per square foot economics only improve as you expand the bed. A $2 seed packet covers a 4-foot row and replaces $10 to $15 worth of salad bags at the grocery store, per cutting. Multiply that across 4 to 6 cuttings, do the math. Now I am going to tell you what it is. The seed packet is salad mix, specifically, cut and come again mesclun mix, a blend of loose leaf lettuces, arugula, mustard greens, spinach, and Asian greens, sold as a single packet at virtually every garden center and seed supplier in the country for between $3 and $6. I know what you might be thinking. Salad mix? That is the big reveal? Stay with me, because what most people do not understand about salad mix is how it works at the production level, and why July is one of the best possible planting windows for it. Here is what salad mix does that almost no other crop does. It produces in 25 to 35 days from seed. Not 60 days, not 80 days. 25 to 35 days. You plant today, July 5th, and you are harvesting by the first week of August. Then you harvest again in mid-August. Then again in September. Then again in October. Then, if you are in Zone 5 or warmer, again in November with light row cover protection. That is the 16 weeks. That is the math. And at current grocery store prices, a 5-ounce clamshell of salad mix runs $4.50 to $6.99 at major U.S. supermarkets. A 4 by 4 foot bed producing one equivalent clamshell per week is returning $72 to $112 in grocery value across the growing window. From $5 of seed, planted today. But here is where it gets better. Because salad mix is the base, the foundation, and what you build on top of it, the companion system I told you about in the hook, is what takes this from impressive to extraordinary. Here's the system. Salad mix is your foundation crop, fast germinating, continuously producing, immediately valuable. But a garden that produces only salad mix for 16 weeks is a garden leaving significant value on the table. Because salad mix has a companion, a second planting that sits beside it, does not compete with it, actually improves the growing conditions around it, and produces a completely different category of food simultaneously. The companion seed, radishes. A packet of radish seeds costs the same $5. Radishes mature in 22 to 30 days, faster than the salad mix itself. They are sown between rows of salad mix at planting time. They germinate alongside the salad greens. Their roots break up the soil, improving drainage and aeration for the shallower salad mix roots beside them. And they are harvested and eaten before the salad mix needs the space. Zero competition. Pure addition. A succession of radish sowings, one row every 10 days through late July, produces continuous radish harvests from early August through October, running in parallel with your salad mix harvests, from the same bed, at no additional space cost. Companion Addition 2. Bush beans along the border plant. A single row of bush beans along the sunny border of your salad mix bed. Bush beans fix nitrogen in the soil. They pull nitrogen from the air and convert it into soil-available form through bacteria in their root nodules. That nitrogen feeds the salad mix and radishes beside them without a single bag of fertilizer. They mature in 50 to 60 days from a July planting, early September. They produce continuously when harvested regularly, Bush beans can yield up to 5 pounds from every 10-foot row. At current grocery prices, green beans run $2.50 to $4 per pound. A 10-foot row produces $12 to $20 of beans across the harvest window, added to your salad mix and radish returns, from a border that would otherwise sit empty. Companion Edition 3. Kale in the back row plant. A single back row of kale behind the salad mix. Kale provides a canopy that shades the salad mix during the hottest part of late July and early August, reducing bolting and extending the salad mix productive window by 2 to 3 weeks. It matures in 55 to 70 days, late September, and it improves after frost. A handful of high-yield vegetables like kale can produce weeks of fresh food while helping stretch every gardening dollar. A back row of kale in a 4x4-foot bed adds zero competition to the salad mix and radishes in front of it. Because by the time the kale matures and needs full light, the salad mix's summer production window has naturally wound down and the kale takes over seamlessly. One crop hands off to the next. No empty bed, no gap in production. 16 weeks becomes 20. The full system, what a 4x4-foot bed looks like. Front row radishes, sown every 10 days, harvesting from August through October middle section. Salad mix, first harvest at 25 to 35 days, continuous through November with row cover. Border row, bush beans, producing September through October, fixing nitrogen for everything beside them. Back row, kale, maturing late September, producing through December with light frost protection. Total seed cost, approximately $15 to $20 for all 4 seed packets. Total grocery equivalent value across the full growing window, $200 to $350 based on verified 2026 retail prices. Return on investment, $1 of seed returning $15 to $20 of produce. Conservative based on the lower yield estimates from Iowa State Extension's verified data. That is the system. 4 seed packets, 1 4x4-foot bed, 20 weeks of continuous production starting in August. Now let me show you exactly how to build it this weekend. Here is exactly how to build this system this weekend. Everything you need. Nothing you do, not what you need. Total cost $15 to $25. 1 packet of cut and come again salad mix or mesclun mix, $3 to $5. 1 packet of radish seeds, $2 to $4. 1 packet of bush bean seeds, $3 to $5. 1 packet of kale, $3 to $5. 1 bag of compost if your existing soil is poor, $5 to $8. 1 watering can or hose. You already have this. Total $11 to $19 in seeds. Under $30 including compost if needed. Best variety names to look for: salad mix, mesclun mix, Burpee or Johnny's, gourmet salad blend, botanical interests, spicy salad mix, Baker Creek, radish, cherry bell, 25 days, French breakfast, 28 days, Easter egg mix, visual variety, bush beans, provider, reliable in heat, contender, excellent yield, Blue Lake, 274, classic flavor, kale, lacinato, most cold hardy, red Russian, tender, excellent raw, winter boar, productive through hard frost. Step 1. Bed preparation. You do not need a raised bed. You do not need special equipment. Find a spot with minimum 6 hours of direct sun. Mark out a 4x4-foot square. Loosen the top 6 inches of soil with a fork or hand trowel. Add 2 inches of compost and work it in. Rake level. If you already have raised beds or garden space, skip straight to step 2. Total time, 15 minutes. Step 2. Planting layout. Back row, north side, full sun for front plants. Kale. Sow seeds or transplant seedlings 10 inches apart. 1 row, 4 plants across a 4-foot bed. Middle section. Salad mix. Broadcast sow. Scatter seeds evenly across the middle third of the bed, approximately 1 seed per square inch. Rake lightly to cover to 1/4 inch depth. Do not thin. Salad mix grows as a carpet, not as individual plants. Front row, radishes. Sow seeds 1 inch apart in a single row along the sunny front edge. Cover to 1/2 inch depth. Border row, sunniest side, ideally south or west. Bush beans. Sow seeds 2 inches apart along the border. Cover to 1-inch depth. Total planting time, 20 minutes. Step 3. Germination care. Water gently immediately after planting, enough to settle the soil without displacing seeds. Water every morning for the first 7 days. Light watering, just enough to keep the top inch of soil consistently moist. Salad mix and radishes will emerge in 5 to 7 days in July's warm soil. Bush beans in 7 to 10 days. Kale in 5 to 10 days. Once all seedlings have their first true leaves, water deeply twice per week rather than lightly every day. This encourages deep root development and drought resilience. Step 4. The harvest schedule. Week 4, early August. First radish harvest. Pull individual radishes as they reach golf ball size. Do not wait for all to mature simultaneously. Week 5, mid-August. First salad mix harvest. Use scissors to cut the entire bed to 1 inch above soil level. This is your first cutting. Water immediately after. The bed will regrow. Every 14 to 21 days after that. Return with scissors. Cut the salad mix again. Water. Repeat. Week 8 to 9, early September. Bush beans begin producing. Harvest pods when they snap cleanly. Do not let pods mature on the vine or the plant slows production. Pick every 2 to 3 days during peak production. Week 10 to 11, mid to late September. Kale begins producing. Harvest outer leaves only, always leaving the central growing point intact. The plant will continue producing until hard frost. Step 5. Extending the season. When night temperatures begin dropping below 40 degrees Fahrenheit in October, lay a sheet of Agribon AG 19 row cover fabric directly over the salad mix and kale. This single addition extends production by 4 to 6 weeks in most U.S. climate zones. The fabric costs $8 to $15 for a 12-foot length and can be reused for multiple seasons. With row cover, your salad mix continues producing into November. Your kale continues through December in zones 5 and warmer. That is how 16 weeks becomes 20. Step 6. Succession sowing. Every 10 days through late July, sow 1 more short row of radishes and 1 more short section of salad mix in any available space. This staggered sowing means you never have a gap in production and never have everything ready at once. Continuous harvest, continuous production, no glut, no empty weeks, named seed sources. Johnny's Selected Seeds, johnnyseeds.com. Best variety selection for cut-and-come-again mixes. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, rareseeds.com. Best for heirloom and specialty varieties. burpee.com. Widely available, reliable, found at most major garden centers, your local farm supply store. For same-day purchase without shipping time, go back to where we started. A $5 bill, pressed into warm July soil. Here is what that $5 actually is. It is not a seed purchase. It is a decision. A decision that the fresh food your family eats between now and November does not have to come from a supply chain you have no control over. Does not have to cost $50 a week at a store where the prices went up 7.5% this year and will go up again next year. It is a decision that 16 square feet of your backyard, a space so small most people use it to stack empty pots, can produce fresh food continuously for 4 months. The families who made that decision this week will be pulling salad mix and green beans and kale and radishes out of their own gardens in September, while everyone else is still standing in the produce section doing the math on whether organic kale is worth the extra $2. This is not complicated. It does not require expertise. It does not require expensive equipment or special knowledge or a background in horticulture. It requires $5, a patch of sun, 20 minutes this weekend, and the willingness to bet on your own backyard instead of the grocery store. That is the whole thing. If this video showed you something worth acting on, something you are going to do this weekend, rather than just file away and forget, hit the like button. It is the fastest way to tell YouTube to show this to more families who could use the same information before their July window closes. Subscribe to this channel, because this is what we do here. We do not talk about gardening in theory. We talk about what to plant, when to plant it, and exactly what it returns. In weeks of food, in grocery savings, in the specific and measurable return that comes from taking your family's food supply seriously. One bed at a time, one season at a time, and before you go, one question, one word in the comments. Are you planting this weekend? Yes or no? That is it. One word. If you say yes, I will reply with one additional tip specific to your growing zone that will add 2 weeks to your harvest window. I read every single comment. Now go plant something.